Hello and welcome back to the John and Adrian podcast. Let's get right into it. John, me and you talked to our great friend Isaiah, and he told us who he thinks is going to go to the Western or the finals. And I don't believe him. I think so. He picked the Lakers and the Heat, and both the Lakers and the Heat are both 3-1.
No. He picked the Lakers and the Celtics.
Oh, was that
He's talking about that legacy matchup.
right? But as we know, he's been wrong every single one of his predictions so far. But he's self-aware now.
Nuggets Heat all the way.
He's self-aware, so I don't buy into it.
I don't know. It's not that he's now self-aware. It's that now he's doing it intentionally, right? Like before it was he knew he had bad luck. Now he's trying to decide the winner because of his bad luck.
Right. He's not picking someone that he genuinely thinks is better. He's just like, I'm gonna pick the opposite of what I want, and it's gonna work in my favor. Which I don't know. The Nuggets are comeback kings in this NBA playoffs. Like, they've come back from 2-3-1, like being down 3-1 twice, right? So the series with the Lakers isn't over, but it's safe to say that the Heat have the Clippers, right? Like, it's the Heat are going to the finals. I feel like that's a safe thing to say. Bet. I am betting the Heat. I'm all in.
Yeah, Isaiah picked the Celtics, so I'll take the Heat too.
Okay.
The Nuggets are down 3-1. This is their time.
This is their time. They're gonna make a comeback, which okay, so game 2, or was it game 3, the Lakers got like blown out, right? And that kind of scared me, but the Lakers came back in game 4 and won.
Blown out.
They didn't. Well, they the
lost
game
by 8.
Well, the game was never close. If you watched it, the Nuggets had the lead pretty much the entire game. So I don't know. The Lakers are up 3-1. They should go to the finals. It's whether or not they're able to close out when no one else has been able to close out on the Nuggets, right? I don't know. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Really, that I want to say Lakers, but it's knowing the Nuggets' history and what they've done, there's no guarantees. But you know what where we messed up also, when we guaranteed the Jaguars winning over the Dolphins. we whiffed. We whiffed badly on that pick.
Speaking of whiffing on picks, how did you do in fantasy?
You know what, John? I didn't whiff. It's just okay.
You asked me before the week, which we're playing each other, so I don't know why you talked to me about your picks. You're like, should you start Devontae Parker or the Jaguars running back, whoever that is? I can't even tell
James Robinson. Okay.
James Robinson.
No, here's the thing. For me, I planned on putting James Robinson at my flex, but for everyone so I was on the Nyheim Hines train, right? And I put him at my flex last week, and he absolutely bombed, right? And so I was a little hesitant this week, because James Robinson was the waiver wire running back to pick up. So I was a little hesitant to put him at the flex position. And so I didn't, and he dropped 30 points, which I think from here on out, I think he's going to be my flex running back, because his schedule only gets easier. He's playing the Bengals next week. He plays Houston. He's going to play Detroit in 2 weeks. And if the Jaguars game versus the Dolphins showed anything, it's when the Jaguars aren't playing good, they'll just feed it down this man's throat. They do not care. They will give it to him every single possession.
Their offensive line did terrible. I mean, if they didn't, then Minshew just got sacked.
Right.
There was nothing that they could do.
So he's he's going to be a really good asset on my team. But Devontae Parker, he cheeks, bro. Uh, it also might have been that the Dolphins were up literally that entire game, so they had no incentive to throw the ball like whatsoever. But yeah, no, so far it's not looking great. But I'm only projected to lose by 2 points, and like that's still a really close.
Before this, you were projected to win by 1 point.
Right. So, it's not looking great, but it's still not like the end of the world.
Yeah.
I just need another player to like. I still have Calvin Ridley to play, right? Like Calvin Ridley alone, can make enough points for 3 receivers, right? Like he's been on that type of tear. But
yeah, I don't know. He's playing Chicago though. Chicago is by far the best defense that he's played.
Right. But again, it's it's one of those things where it's like you can't guarantee a performance from a player because like we're not the coaches, right? Like we don't know the game plan going into it, but you have to keep in mind Julio Jones is the number 1 wide receiver and everyone's going to guard Julio Jones. So
Julio Jones might not play.
Right, so that might be a thing.
So that would put Calvin Ridley at the number 1.
Which in that case,
I think Hayden Hurst would be the guy to pick up in that game.
No, it would be Russell Gage, the Falcons. Gage. He would be the guy to pick up in that case because he's been balling, and the past 2 games
he's in the top 10 for receivers right now.
And he's been the number 3 wide receiver on that team. And he's still balling, which any Falcons receiver is going to ball because their defense is terrible, and the only way for that team to stay competitive is to throw the ball like 100 times a game, and Matt Ryan can still throw it. So there's no real negatives to any of those wide receivers. But do you just want to let's get into them NFL picks? So Giants 49ers, I think. All right, I want to preference this week's pick'ems by saying we're probably going to miss half of these. There's no like this week is such a unknown and such a like toss up. Like we thought the Jaguars going to roll into. Did they play in?
I thought it was going to be a blowout. I didn't know which team.
I
picked Jaguars to be the team to blow out. Thursday night games.
I thought it was going to be
always blowouts.
See, I thought it was going to be like a high-scoring affair with both teams, like going back and forth. But no, it was Miami all the way. Like
Every Thursday night game, I go into it with the mindset one of these teams is going to blow out the other one. So which one is it going to be? And
right.
Picked wrong this week.
Yeah, which honestly, they're both 1-2 now, which it's weird. I don't know. I guess their Jaguar is as bad as we thought, or is the Dolphins slightly better than we thought? I don't know. Like, you can't take away anything from that game.
They're both going to get top 5 picks.
Right.
Doesn't matter.
Which neither of those teams are, the number 1 quarterback this year is what? Trevor Lawrence, and neither of those teams I see picking up Trevor Lawrence. So
I think the Jaguars would, and then trade Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, they'd probably do him dirty like that, but that actually, honestly, I feel like would save his career if he got.
Or what the Jaguars could do is, if they do bad enough and get the number 1 pick, they could trade it back.
Pick up like a 5 or something, and then
they could just pull the Browns and just keep trading back every year, and then 5 years down the line in 2025, we're like, hey, why do they have 5 first-round draft picks?
Who knows? It's not like they like just been trading out of the first round for the past like 10 years. But okay, let's get to this 49ers Giants game. So a little bit more about the injury situation over in San Fran. So my understanding is everyone's dead.
So half the team is dead. That's all that matters.
Right.
So
but
it's half of the Niners starting rosters out and Saquon Barkley's out. So given
half
those
of the Giants
and Sterling Shepard. So given those 2 facts, who do you think is going to win?
Okay, you know what? Who I think is going to win this week is fantasy owners of Evan Ingram. If they don't throw it to him, I don't know who else they're going to throw it to. But
I don't think they can throw it. Period.
Fair enough.
With the
they don't have a running attack either.
Quan
so
Alexander's healthy, and everyone in the secondary except Richard Sherman's healthy.
Right.
So they need to get it going running.
Which they picked up Devontae Freeman.
Eric
So
Armstead and Javon Kinlaw are still healthy, so if they do get it going running, it's going to need to be on the edge. And I don't know whether or not Devontae or who's the other one you said?
who I don't know.
Devontae Freeman.
They
Devontae
picked
Freeman. I
they
don't know.
picked yeah, they picked him up.
Yeah, picked up. I don't know if Devontae Freeman's the running back to set the edge.
Which I think they have another one already in house, but I don't know their backup running back. But so
They have James White or Dion Lewis, one of the old Patriots running backs.
Yeah, I think it's Dion Lewis. But so the big thing from this game, yeah, it's Dion Lewis. Jimmy G is dead, so actually, well, he hasn't been that much of a help in your first two games either.
I mean, he's like our fourth best player.
Yeah, but a quarterback is still a big enough dent. I feel like for most teams.
Nick Mullins played bad. He started most of the season 2 years ago, and he played really well.
He played good enough to
this
not
is
get...
a bad team, so I'm confident in the 49ers to win this game.
Right.
I think Kyle Shanahan's a better coach than the Giants coach. So I trust him to game plan around the injuries more so than, who is it, Joe Judge?
I believe so, yeah. Which I think, I want to say he's a first-year head coach, but I don't know.
He is.
Okay.
He was the guy who used to be the Patriots special teams coach.
Right. So this week, yeah, if the Giants win, I'd get it. If the 49ers win, I'd get it, right? It's just, what do I think is more likely to happen? Probably, yeah, the 49ers are able to, salvage a win here. Because if they don't win this, their future is not looking great. Because
the season's over anyways, in my opinion. I mean, without
Nick
Bosa, I don't think we're going to the Super Bowl.
Or the playoffs. Yeah. Well, starting week 6 is when... week 6 is when the 49ers play the Rams, and hopefully, I mean, if your team isn't healthy by then, you're probably going to lose that game.
We have to be at least 3-3, and then probably win the Rams game if we want to stay competitive.
Right, and it doesn't get any easier after the Rams either. It's like you play the Patriots, you play...
yeah, that's what happens when you were the number 1 seed.
Right, the schedule up until week 6 is fairly easy because after this week, you guys play the is it your bye week? Week 5?
I think we have the first week is our bye.
Yeah, it's week 5. 4. It's week 5. Well, you guys play the Eagles in week 4, so that's a win. That should be a win. Like the Eagles.
I don't know. Actually,
you guys don't have.
Either way, we're both broken.
Right, but you guys lost your pass rush, which if you're playing the Eagles, that's really all you need. So, you know what? I don't know. That's going to be interesting to see. We'll just see who's healthier come next week. But yeah, the 49ers, this is a must win if they want their season to be good, right? Like squeak into the playoffs, because the NFC West is not a nice division to be in. It's 3 teams are going to the playoffs in that division, and if you slip up, you're not going to make it. Browns, Washington. What do you think?
The Browns, I would rather Washington win, but that's more because I have Chase Young on fantasy, and I want him to do good enough to just win that game. But the Browns should be the winners here, because again, the Redskins' defensive line is the only good thing about that team right now. That and Terry McLaurin.
Right. The Browns got a new head coach, but you wouldn't think it. You would think it's still Freddie Kitchens back there with how terrible they've been playing. But yeah, the Browns should win this game. And I feel like we're going to be saying that a lot this year about the Browns. Is like, they should win this game, but I don't think they will win this game. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, they could blow this very easily because, well, it's the Browns. But I'll have to say the Browns. Like, the Browns should win. Bengals, Eagles. I don't think the Bengals have I think the Bengals have a good defense, but I don't think they have a defense where they can get to Carson Wentz, which we've learned.
Eagles are 0-2, right?
Right. The Eagles are 0-2. The Bengals are 0-2. But I think the Bengals are slightly better, mainly with Joe Burrow.
So I think the Bengals are better, but I think I don't think the Eagles are a team that's likely to go 0-3. I think the
Right.
Bengals are a team that's good to go 0-3. And if it comes down to it, I think it's Carson Wentz versus Joe Burrow, and Carson Wentz is a more experienced quarterback. He technically has a Super Bowl win. So
Technically,
I
right?
gotta
Yeah.
take the Eagles over the Bengals on this one.
My see, I don't know how banged up the Eagles still are, which I think they got even more broke. Like they were broken more after week 2, but for me, I think I just like the Bengals more. I think like last week how they played the Browns and week 1 how they played the Chargers. I think they're itching for a win, and I feel like this is the place that they can get it. If not here, I don't know when. Right? Like actually maybe next week, but yeah, I think I like the Bengals in this matchup. I think they have a really good shot at winning, and I'm just gonna have to pick the Bengals.
All right, next is the Raiders at New England. And I think this is the game that brings the Raiders back down from their high. They beat the
Right?
Saints, and now they
They
aren't going to
shouldn't
be.
have that win against the Saints is all because the Saints were just terrible. Like I don't. Yeah, I think Bill Belichick will absolutely destroy this Raiders team. Like if we judge teams based off their coach, Bill Belichick's a way better coach. We judge based off their quarterbacks. Cam Newton is a way better quarterback than Derek Carr. Which keep in mind, Derek Carr isn't a terrible quarterback. It's just Cam Newton is
So
physically
I
better.
would say Derek Carr is better, but I would say Cam Newton under Bill Belichick is better. Cam
Right,
Newton in
right,
Carolina, I don't think is better than Derek Carr, but Cam
right.
Newton playing for Bill Belichick, I think is better.
Which Derek Carr gets a lot of disrespect around the league. Where I think he's like a bad. I get the impression that people believe he's a bad
Valley
quarterback,
boy.
right? But I think he's good. He's not terrible.
Well, you're a Valley boy too, so.
Nah, no, he doesn't. No, he doesn't get those pity points from me. I could care less. Yeah, but the Raiders are going to get destroyed. I don't know. The Patriots. I'm all in on this one.
Yeah. Chicago at Atlanta.
This is
Who
going
do
to
you
be
got?
fun. I don't think this. Okay, I say it's going to be fun mainly because it's the Browns, which are surprisingly 0-2.
Bears
Oh yeah, the Bears.
and the
Bears.
Falcons.
The Falcons
are
choked.
0-2.
Yeah, the
And
Falcons
the
choked their way
Bears
to 0 and
are
2.
2-0.
Right. So the Bears shouldn't be 0 and 2, and the Falcons choked their way. Or yeah, the Bears shouldn't be 2 and 0, and the Falcons choked their way into 0 and 2. So I think either the Falcons show that they're a good team this game, and the Bears come back down to reality, or the Bears somehow beat the Falcons and are just on a like they're on such a high that they'll never come down, right? Like Mitchell Trubisky gets like a 10-year extension. Everything's looking great in the city of Chicago.
So who do you got?
I really want to say the Falcons because I don't believe in the Bears whatsoever. Well, no. Yes. I want Calvin Ridley 5 touchdowns, 200 yards. It would win me every single fantasy league right there if he just did that.
I'm gonna say the Bears because the Falcons
Are chokes. They're
to
chokers.
throw it.
Yeah.
They've been throwing it on everyone. Okay, because of them, the Seahawks have the worst pass defense in the league. Because of them, the Cowboys dropped to 3rd worst pass defense in the league. They have been tearing people up through the air, but the Bears are a great defense. I don't think that Matt Ryan will be able to just throw it all over them. Like he wants to, even with Calvin Ridley and Russell Gage and Hayden Hurst, Todd Gurley. Even if Julio plays, I mean, he might have a couple great plays, but I don't think it'll be enough for them to win the game.
Right.
I think the Bears win.
Do you think they win because of Mitchell Trubisky? You
I
think
think they
you?
won because of their defense.
Okay.
Their defense can stop the Falcons' offense enough.
Right, which we all know the Falcons' defense is not great, and that's why the Falcons throw like 500 times a game.
Yeah.
Because what in the Seahawks game, it was literally all of the fantasy points were garbage time fantasy points, which it's awesome if you're a fantasy owner. It's terrible if you're an actual Falcons fan, right? So Bills Rams, I think this is going to be an actual good game.
Same.
That being said, I'm just gonna have to pick the Rams, even though I think in my head it's gonna be a good game. Like it's genuinely gonna be a good game where the winner of this game has a valid reason to go to the playoffs and like do great things in the playoffs.
Super Bowl preview? Question mark.
I don't think that. No, I don't think it's gonna be like that. I think it's just gonna be like two good playoff teams. If the Rams win, I see it as like, everyone's been comparing them to like their 2018 form when they went to the Super Bowl, right?
Mhm.
I think
They're not that good.
they're not that good, but if they win this game, they're stepping in
They'll
that
look like
direction.
it.
Yeah, they'll look like it. If the Bills win, they'll have hope, which
Mhm.
I don't want that for Bills fans. In my head, the only reason we have the Bills Mafia is because of how depressed they are. That's
Yeah,
the
how
only
bad
way
they
they,
are.
right. That's the only
How
way
they
they know how to
enjoy
express.
football.
Yeah, that's the only way they know how to express themselves. So I don't want that to go away. So I don't want them to have any hope.
I think the Bills are just a more complete team.
Right.
I think like watching them play, like it looks like Stephon Diggs was just the one thing they were missing, and now they've got it. Josh Allen looks a lot better.
He does. He does look a lot better.
Even saying that, I mean, he was obviously a good quarterback last year, and he's still not like top 10 this year so far, but he's playing much better, and that's a good sign. And I don't think the Rams defense is strong enough. I think it's built off of names more so than scheme, which I don't like. I don't like playing defense that way, but it works for them because of how high powered their offense is. So if they can just get like a turnover or something on defense to give them another opportunity to score, it helps them win. But I like the way the Bills play versus the Rams, so I'll take the Bills.
Yeah, no, the Rams have a first-year defensive coordinator, so I don't think he's fully got the defensive play calling thing down just yet. But yeah, I just have to go with the Rams. Texans, Steelers. It pains me to say this, but I think the Steelers are going to win.
So before the season started, I ran through I did a season
right. I did the same
thing, and I had the Steelers having the same record or one less win than the Ravens, and then finishing with obviously the highest wild card because of that.
Right.
A big part of that is how easy their schedule is this year. They are a good team, but they aren't 12-4 good. They could go 12-4 because they're going to consistently play teams like Houston and teams with worse quarterbacks than Houston. Right. So once they get to the playoffs, they'll probably win maybe one or two games
and die out. Yeah. But
yeah, we're going to be saying their names a lot this season, and then it's going to die in the playoffs.
It's what is it? I think it's just because Houston has been a terrible team. Like they have nothing that shows that they can win games. Like Deshaun Watson's out there like I wouldn't say getting murdered, but he has no weapons, right? Like what's he going to do? Hand it to David Johnson? David Johnson, that's a terrible, like they literally had the worst trade this offseason. Like
especially looking at how great Arizona is.
Right. Well, yeah, the connection that DeAndre Hopkins and Kyler Murray have had, no one would expected that really, right? So, yeah, Texan, it's sad because you guys should have been improving. Like you guys had a great base for a team that could be good and compete with, Lamar Jackson, the Ravens and the Chiefs for years to come, but one bad trade ruined that. And it ruined that so greatly. So, yeah, Steelers.
Next is the Titans and the Vikings.
Titans.
I've given up on the Vikings.
Yeah, Vikings.
I don't think I'm ever gonna pick them again. I think we said this last week. When they play the Lions, I'll pick them. But other than that, it's Titans all the way.
No, they lost that game too, didn't they?
Who?
Wait.
Vikings?
Oh, yeah. Like you said, yeah. When they play the
Lions, I'll pick the Vikings because they should win that one.
They should, but they probably won't, right? So I think this is a team that the Vikings are a team that is on the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes. They are tanking for Trevor Lawrence, even though they really shouldn't be, right? So their only major thing this offseason, I think, was what? They traded away Stephon Diggs, which, they replaced him with...
They signed Justin Jefferson to replace him.
Yeah. So, but he, he's a rookie, so he hasn't had the production of a Stephon Diggs that has experience, which, hopefully he gets there someday. But I don't know what it is with the Vikings. Kirk Cousins has been terrible. He can't throw the ball. It seems like he's getting absolutely destroyed out there. And yeah,
losing Everson Griffin was pretty big for them.
Right.
Their defensive line isn't playing as good. I think they were banking on Dalvin Cook coming back and being the best running back in the league. And yeah, he's good, but
he can't carry that team. Yeah. He's not, which I would say he's not a Saquon Barkley, but Saquon Barkley hasn't really been carrying the Giants, and I think the Ezekiel Elliott, I guess, is the closest thing we have right now to a running back that carries his team.
I think Dalvin Cook's a good comparison to Saquon Barkley because they both just get hurt,
right,
play, and the teams just hope they come back.
They're still really good running backs. I just don't think we'll see a running back.
We won't see them for a while.
Right. we definitely won't, but I think we've lost. We're not in an era of the one running back that can carry a team. I think we're past that.
The closest thing to that would be Christian McCaffrey.
Right. And he's dead.
Yeah. So speaking of Christian McCaffrey, Carolina Chargers.
The Chargers.
So Tyrod Taylor's out for how long now?
Well, it's a day-to-day. Tyrod Taylor has a punctured lung because the team doctors put a needle through his lung. So Justin Herbert makes his second start. He played okay last week. I see him playing okay or slightly better this week. The Chargers should win. They're playing a Carolina team with no Christian McCaffrey. There's no threat
Robbie
there.
Anderson's the next best player on the team now.
Right.
Come on.
And realistically, you should lock him up. If you know that's their only weapon, lock it up. Right?
Yeah. Just put Casey Hayward on him and then ignore it, right? Come on. Just do it. Just win.
Yeah. You guys should win, and it shouldn't be like a game. They've lost, or they've won and lost games this season by 3 points. I think they're the only team to have their games be that close. This should not be a close game, Chargers. You should actually win this game. But it's the Chargers. They'll somehow manage to keep it close and either win it or lose it in the last 3 seconds. Jets, Colts. Yeah, the Colts. The Jets are a terrible team. I don't know how, but they're terrible. The Jets are another team. Top five pick right there in the Jets organization. And do you think they get rid of what's his name, Sam Darnold?
I think if a team offers them something good, they'll do it. But to go with that, I don't see why a team would offer them something good to get him. The only reason I could see the Vikings in the second half of the season pulling through and winning a couple games, and so not getting that high pick, and then trading for Sam Darnold.
Right.
But other than that, I don't see the Jets taking a quarterback.
Well, in my situation in my head, I'm thinking it's a Josh Rosen situation where they get the first overall pick, Trevor Lawrence is there, and they go, is Trevor Lawrence better than Donald? Or Donald? Am I saying that right? I don't
If that
think.
happens, I think they'll trade back.
Okay.
If they get that, I think they'll
Which,
trade.
if they trade back, they can still pick up
Actually
Justin
wants Trevor
Fields.
Lawrence.
They could pick up
Yeah.
Justin Fields.
What
The
they should do,
boy
trade
Brock
back
Purdy.
to the second overall pick and get a first rounder and a second rounder, then trade back again and be like, hey, who wants Justin Fields? And get 2 more first rounders, and then finish that off with the third overall pick, and then like another pick later, 2 more picks later on in the first round.
Right. I mean, I think Brock Purdy to the Jets. No, he's
No.
above that. He's above that.
He's better than that.
He's better. He's better than that. He deserves better than that.
Dallas, Seattle. I think we're
Seattle.
both gonna say Seattle.
Yeah, Seattle. I mean, I don't think the Cowboys are a good team. I think they're a bad team in disguise. Right.
Yeah. So there was a stat: the Cowboys' last 9 games that are within 1 score, they've lost 7 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a real testament to that team. It's like they keep getting the spotlight and then they just consistently lose. And it's like, why did you get the spotlight? You're 2-7 against not even good teams, just in close games, right? Like,
Right.
if you're a good team, then you shouldn't have been close with the Falcons.
No, yeah. If you're a good team, the Falcons shouldn't have had the opportunity to choke, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's the Cowboys didn't win that game. The Falcons lost that game.
Lost.
Like, that is a very different thing. Like, the Falcons are such a bad team and such a poorly coached team that they lost that game, and they lost the Super Bowl because of how terrible their coaching was, right? Like, so yeah, the Cowboys I think are going to be
problems.
Yeah, the Cowboys I think are a team they're not good, but they're good enough to convince certain people that they're better than what they are, right?
Especially in their division. Like, they could go 4-2 in their division. They could go 6-0 in their division,
Right.
because of how bad it is.
Right, and make the playoffs. Like last year, like we 7-9 in the playoffs, but I think it was what 8-8.
No, 9-7.
Okay, they barely
Eagles
won.
were 9-7.
Right. So,
but they would have made it if they'd gone 8-8. I think.
Yeah. So, Seahawks. Realistically,
So now on to a good team. Lions versus Cardinals.
The Cardinals should murder the Lions. There's no. Oh, this division's so like. Honestly, I could see it. I think Arizona's schedule is so easy that they could end up being the number 1 team in the NFC West, mainly because of how easy their schedule is. Because I look at their schedule and I go, they shouldn't lose these games, right? Like, there's a lot of...
Yeah, I would agree, but I think the difference is that the Seahawks are going to be playing tough teams, and they're good enough
to win,
to actually beat the tough teams. So they could be the 1 seed in our division and actually deserve it. The Cardinals could be the 2 seed with the same record and be a total mirage because they are not as good as the Seattle Seahawks.
I think the only reason the Cardinals would be above the Seahawks is point differential, right? Like, they'd have the same schedule or the same record, but since Cardinals...
No, isn't the first tiebreaker strength of schedule, isn't it?
Oh, is it? Okay, then yeah.
In that case, it would go to the Seahawks.
If I thought it was point differential, which in that case it'd be the Cardinals, but
probably
yeah. So and then the third, realistically, so like let's say the Cardinals and Seahawks both go 12-4. I think if the 49ers
they're at 10-6,
right, and then the 49ers could be like 10-6 as well if they get back to healthy or whatever, right?
If we come back healthy, I'd say 10-6, maybe 9-7.
Right.
Because you still gotta account for Jimmy Garoppolo just playing bad sometimes.
I think
So even then, 9-7, I don't think we'd make the playoffs.
No, I think you have to be at least 10-6, which I see the Rams being more like 11-3 or what is it, 11-5. So it's a stupid hard division, and it just is what it is, right? And the Cardinals should destroy the Lions, and this should get Matt Patricia fired. I don't know what will get him fired, but he should get fired. Please, for the sake of Lions fans everywhere, like, get that man out of there.
No, just wait till the end of the season and then fire him and hire Jay Gruden, and all of your problems will be solved.
Yes.
You will never have to worry about winning another game again.
All of your problems will be solved. Every single last one of them. Just hire a new mediocre coach and you won't have any problems.
Tampa and Denver.
See, if we would have done this before week 2, I would have said the Broncos, because they have Drew Lock and their team, and they have, what's his name? Sutton.
Yeah.
So their team is healthy, and Tampa, is a little iffy. Now, in the current state that we are, it's Tampa. They should win this game. The Broncos have a backup quarterback starting. I forget, Driscoll?
Mm-hmm. Which Driscoll.
This is something I wanted to talk to you about. This. They signed, what's his name? Blake Bortles to be a backup and a quarterback that could go in if Driscoll dies or something, right? So Blake Bortles is on the Broncos roster as a backup right now, and a lot of media outlets came out and said, asked John Elway or something like, did you guys consider, Colin Kaepernick, right? And he was like, no,
No, why would you?
Right.
Well, this is hilarious. So the year, Colin Kaepernick's last year in San Francisco, before that season started, John Elway said, Colin Kaepernick, come play for the Denver Broncos at $12 million a year. Because it was right after they'd won the Super Bowl. Peyton Manning retired. John Elway said, Colin Kaepernick, come be on our team. And Colin Kaepernick said, no, I want more money. And Denver, John Elway was like, I can't afford any more money. I have Von Miller to pay. I have Derek Wolfe to pay. I have all these players I need to pay. I can give you $12 million. And Kaepernick was like, no, I'm not going to do it. And then there's a hilarious story because we played them, the Broncos, in the preseason that year. And so week 1 of the preseason, Colin Kaepernick's running at the tunnel and he's standing on the sideline, and a little kid in a Broncos uniform goes, how come you're not on my team, Colin Kaepernick?
No, I think at this point we can agree that when Colin Kaepernick left the league, originally he was blackballed, but it's been 4 or 5 years. I don't think he's done.
I don't think he was blackballed. He went 1-7 his last year as a starter. He got benched.
Right.
He won one game. Blaine Gabbert's the guy who benched him. Come on. I don't think Colin Kaepernick is a very good quarterback.
Right, but I'm just saying, at this point, I think it's just a narrative that's being pushed of he's done. I don't think he's coming back.
Bro?
Yeah.
Good,
no,
bro.
We missed out on that so much. So the whole Madden debacle. What was it? In 81? He was
81. He has a higher rating than Kyler Murray and Cam Newton.
Right, which those quarterbacks are what? 1, they're playing, and 2, they're way better. They're way better. And what was it? Madden on I'll have to look it up, but I want to say Metacritic has a 0.02
0.2 star.
Yeah,
0.2 star. It's the worst game in Metacritic history.
Which is good. Madden, fix your game. I think we've been saying this for years now.
Since 2014, or not 2016, Odell. Since that year, that was the last year that people didn't really complain about Madden. But since then, it's just been nothing but essentially, I guess, since Xbox One,
Right.
people have had problems
Well,
with the game.
it's because like they haven't done anything. They it's an up to roster update.
Roster
Roster update, yeah. So it's like it's not worth it. And like NCAA 14 is an old game, and I play it because it's way better than Madden. Like it genuinely is. Like you can actually make your own team. You can draft or what. Like you can do stuff that should be in Madden that just isn't, right? Like granted, it's a college game and not a NFL football game, but it's like the basics are there. They're like, I don't know. Madden's just dookie. Madden, I don't know what you're doing. Colin Kaepernick, cool. I guess he should be a free agent in the game, but like he shouldn't be the number one quarterback free agent.
When was the last time he played? Because when did the Broncos win the Super Bowl?
4 years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago,
5 years ago.
5 years ago. Okay.
5 years you haven't played a snap, and you think you should still be considered a free agent?
Yeah, which
half a decade you haven't played.
This we didn't talk about this when it happened, but was it CJ Anderson? The GOAT. He retired, and I just want to say I appreciate it because he helped the Rams get to the Super Bowl. That's all I had to say about that. I like him.
I liked him more as a Bronco when he actually won a Super Bowl, but it's whatever.
Nah, that's a fake ring. Peyton Manning was dead. But okay, so the Bucks should beat the Broncos because Drew Lock is dead, which sucks for Drew Lock.
This is tough for me. I don't know. I'm not giving up. I like Jeff Driscoll. He was good with the Lions, and they're a much worse team than the Broncos are.
I'm not saying Driscoll's bad. I'm just saying, like, I have more faith in Drew Lock, and that faith in Drew Lock.
Broncos defense, to me, could legitimately stop. Like, even without Von Miller, they could legitimately stop Tampa's offense.
Right.
Especially in that high-risk, high-reward offense they run. And if they try to run it, I think that front seven is still good enough to stop Leonard Fournette. So, I guess, and then even the coaching of Vic Fangio, I think he's a great defensive coordinator.
He is.
I think it's too early to call him a good or bad head coach. Bruce Arians, we know, is a good head coach. So, when you think of this game, you think, oh, Tom Brady's better than Jeff Driscoll even now, or their offense is better than the Broncos' offense, so it's winning. But Vic Fangio, I think, is good enough. Tampa's offense, it's just, can he get it done on his offense? And I don't know.
Right. Whatever. Packers, Saints. This is going to be an interesting game, mainly because I don't think the Saints lose 2 games back to back, but at the same time, I think the Packers are better, so I'll have to go with the Packers.
I'm just gonna stick with the Saints. Don't lose back to back, and if they do, then I feel really bad for whoever they're gonna blow out next week.
we could look at that, which they probably are gonna blow out whoever they play next week. Oh, the Lions. That's the Lions. Oh, yeah, no, we could guarantee they're going to destroy the Lions.
Yeah.
God, do the Lions not get a break this year? What is this? They should have a game they could win, right? Oh no,
the Vikings game. The 2 Vikings games. Those are the games.
Well, they play the Jags. They play the Falcons, which play the Colts again. Or have they played the Colts? Well, they're going to play the Colts.
Colts yet.
Play the Vikings. They play the Washington football team, but
I don't know how they ended up with it. Didn't they have the worst record in their division last year? How did they get such a tough schedule?
I think it's mainly because the teams that they just got better and they didn't. I think that's what it is. I think they got
Um,
worse somehow with the addition of Matthew Stafford.
yeah, that's true because they played the Cardinals last season and they tied. Remember?
Yeah.
And the Cardinals were the bottom seed in their division, and they're playing again this year, and we don't even think it's going to be close, right? The Cardinals are a much better team.
Like the Cardinals actually improved. That's the difference.
But the Lions only got worse. They lost Darius Slay.
Somehow. Which, if you're at the bottom, how do you go further down? Like, remember, like the Browns went 1-15, and we're like, "There's no way,
they can get worse.
There's no way they go 0-16." Like, what was his? I forget the head coach. What was his name? Hugh Jackson. Hugh Jackson. He's like,
we're not gonna go 1-15 again.
We're not, and he didn't. The man's a man of his word. 0-16. He jumped in that river. Yeah,
that's why I got fired.
No, he stayed. Didn't he play one? No, he did get fired after 0-16. But God, it's just how do you get worse, right? Like I don't understand that. Okay, let's actually go to a good game now.
Let's go.
Actually, well, the Packers Saints would be a good game, but let's get off the horrible topic of the Lions.
Okay, this is Monday Night Football.
I don't think. Oh, it is Monday Night Football.
This is Kansas City at Baltimore. Who do you got?
I like the Chiefs more in this game, but I don't know. This one is actually kind of hard for me to pick because I think
did they play last year?
I believe they did. I don't remember.
They did. I think Kansas City won last year.
Yeah. And I think
because it was early in the season.
I think they're going to win again. That's just I really don't know why. I have no reason as to why, and I can't think of one. It's just
because you have Patrick Mahomes on fantasy. That's why. That's all the reason you need.
There's all the reason. 3 tutties, 500 yards. Cash it in, baby. Yeah. I don't know. The Ravens are still a good team. If they lose, they're an even better team if they win. Like Super Bowl champs, if they beat the previous Super Bowl champs, who knows? Ooh, spicy.
So Lamar's been playing
bad for his standards. Yeah,
he's been underperforming for a reigning MVP. I think this is his bounce back game, which typically you bounce back against a bad team, right? But I think this is the game where he rises to the occasion and he essentially pulls through and wins. Right?
He stops being a running back and becomes an actual quarterback.
No, I think he's gonna be a good quarterback. But
yeah, no, I know. That was a joke.
City is a running. They aren't good at stopping the run, and so having 4 running backs, they have Lamar Jackson, Mark Ingram, Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins. That is a formula for success. Against the Kansas City Chiefs in my mind.
What was that offense we had to play in high school?
Golden West.
Yeah,
Wing T offense.
Wing T, Wildcat, run it, baby, Lamar Jackson all the way. Like I hate that offense with a passion. I don't know. It's so dumb.
Good against us. I don't know why. I don't think it would do well in the NFL either.
No, but we got destroyed by another team.
Not when we were on the roster.
No. Our freshman year, they ran a triple option type offense, and we got
That's what the Ravens won, isn't it?
I think so. And honestly, it's golden.
It's golden.
It's golden. I love the triple option. It's so much fun. So you don't watch that much college football, but Georgia Tech historically has been a triple option team where they just run it down your throat, and they've started passing, bro. Like
weirdos.
They're a passing team now. Like they're actually throwing the ball. It's crazy. Evolution. Brock Purdy didn't play last week, but he's gonna play this week. Who's he playing? Do we know who he's playing? Who's Brock Purdy playing? We gotta hype up our boy.
I haven't looked yet. Let's see. Iowa State football. They play TCU.
I don't think TCU has played a game yet. Yeah, they haven't, because I believe.
Dang. So Lafayette was unranked, and
Yeah,
they beat ranked 23 Iowa State, and they jump up to 19.
well, they also played they played Georgia State as well, and they beat them. But I don't think that was a. So it's been 2 weeks, and they've won both. And the top 23 or the top 25 now are actually teams that have played. They've gotten rid of all the plays that teams. Ooh, other big news: the Big Ten is back. Iowa State, Michigan, they're all playing starting. I want to say October 20th, 26th, somewhere that week. So they're going to play like a 10-game conference only schedule, which. Hey,
that seems stupid to me. Like,
college
if you're
football
gonna play, then just play.
Right. I don't.
We're gonna play, but only our neighbors. Okay, we don't want to play any of you guys. You guys might have corona.
Okay, the only reason TCU hasn't played is because they were going to play SMU last week, like their rivalry game against SMU, but like 10 players from TCU got the Ronas, so they canceled that game. And
my boy Brock better not get it. I swear, TCU, if you give it to him.
If you give it to our pretty boy, our pressure. Right. So he's TCU. It's gonna get destroyed by Brock Purdy. You heard it here first.
Hopefully they'll get destroyed by Brock Purdy, but if the receivers don't catch the balls, then
You know what? That is true. The receivers do have to catch the balls.
Film, they'll get destroyed, but on the scoreboard, I don't know.
Brock Purdy's gonna be throwing some pretty passes. It just depends whether or not his receivers catch it. Yeah. So in the Jags Dolphins game, leading up to the game, Fitzmagic and Gardner Minshew were throwing shade back and forth. They were dissing each other's beard and mustaches respectively. And I'm just gonna ask you, who do you think is better, the beard or the mustache?
The beard, easy.
You're a man of taste, John. Thank you. You're a fine arts man. Yes, I feel like I don't think it's a discussion, honestly, that Fitzmagic's beard is truly magical. Like, have you seen anything like it before? No. That's the answer right there. No, you haven't. Let's see. What do we got? You got anything else?
No, that's it.
Yeah, there hasn't been really anything major. All right, we're gonna have a short one this week. Thank you all for listening. Hope you have a good one. Bye.